morning, everyone. I am on my way to my workout class. If you are local to the Syracuse area or Capital Region, Metabolic is such a cool workout place. It is unlike any other workout I've really done before. I've done several classes through local gyms, YMCA, and I even took some gym classes when I was at SU. And this is just really top tier, and I love it so much. Love the coaches, love the atmosphere. It's a ton of fun. Thought I'd hop on here and just kind of talk about some things that have been on my mind. I always get a ton of questions that are like, how do you do it all? How do you manage a small business, homeschool, and how do you have 4 kids? I think a lot of it is just balance. Don't feel it as like busy and unruly and crazy and unmanageable as people expect. And I think inward and I'm like, am I missing something? I just really don't think it's the case. I hate this like new trend that's going on. And again, I don't even know if it's new, of like these moms that just act, or parents that just act like being a mom is so all-encompassing that I simply couldn't enjoy or do anything else. No, it's like this new culture of like being a mom is actually the hardest thing. While it's hard, it's just my life. I don't know how to explain it. Every season has its struggles, sure. We're just living in it, and I love that. I had a really tough day with the kids the other day. I don't want to get into much detail, but of course I tell my mom. I like to not overshare it because these like embarrassing moments for the kids, I don't want them to be, they don't feel safe around me because I tell people. I've just got into that mindset lately where I'm like, okay, Desmond's getting older. I can't sit here and like talk about the things that he says to me to everybody, because then I'm not a safe space for him. Long story short, it was a series of like really gross events that happened, and everybody who I told, which was like my parents, my brother, everyone was like, oh my gosh, like, did you throw up? Did you this? Did you that? I just feel like it's not like that something happens and it like tanks my whole day, and then I'm like in a bad mood and I hate everything. And I just feel like toxic motherhood is why people think, well, with 4 kids, like you couldn't possibly go to the gym, and you couldn't possibly run businesses, and you couldn't possibly have lunch dates with your friends or game nights with your friends. And it's just not the case. Yes, they are my children. Yes, they consume 75% of my life, but I still have to make time for myself to do things that fill my cup. I'm pretty much a pseudo like stay-at-home mom now. You do have to devote time to yourself to get out of the house or to do something that you like to do. I feel like moms who deny themselves alone time do suffer, and I've been there. I suffered with a lot of really deep, dark mental health things throughout postpartum and throughout different phases with my children, and it is scary. It's when you step away and devote time to yourself that you fill your cup back up and everything else becomes more manageable. You need to be able to schedule little slivers of alone time. 10-15 minutes of alone time is a lot. Your kids aren't going to miss you in that span of time. If you give them a busy activity and they are safe and secure and there's nowhere that they're going to get hurt, you can step away, go sit in another area of the house, go outside, like walk around your yard. Now, I'm not saying fill your kid's high chair with food, put on Miss Rachel and walk away. No, that's not what I'm saying. Utilize a pack and play. Utilize an older sibling that can kind of supervise for a little bit and step away. Take a breather. Watch some TikToks. Do whatever you need to do to just step away. And I'm telling you that 10-15 minutes makes a huge difference. Time blocking is essential to having a busy life, because those little hours, 20 minutes, 30 minutes that are in your schedule that you're kind of just relaxing or walking around, they could be utilized to give you more relaxing time later. So, like I said, I'm going to get into that. I'll check in with you guys after this workout class. I will look like a beet red tomato, promise you that, but I just want to chat a little bit more. Yikes. Whoo! I've always been the type of person, I get so red when I work out. So good though. But as I was saying, for everybody who asks me about homeschooling, I feel like I preach this like fluid, open structure. With that, I mean, don't spend your whole day doing school. Get to what you can get to in the time block that you allot for school. At a max, I allot 4 hours to school. If we get to everything, great. If we don't, we don't, and it carries on to the next day. Or I take from that and I learn and I adjust to say, okay, that was a little heavy to get in 4 hours. Let's reassess. I don't mean a fluid structure in devote your whole day, like you have all day to school during breakfast, school during lunch, no. I don't recommend that, but I recommend giving yourself a time block and saying, what I get to in here is what I get to. What I don't, I don't. And then reassess, or maybe it was just an off day where there were a lot of distractions. It's not that you can only have that much time, but you should only take that amount of time in order to achieve other things that you want to all day. Something that I had to tell myself when I worked my old job was that you could work 24/7 around the clock. You could homeschool 24/7. You could be wiping butts and cleaning your house and doing laundry and doing dishes 24/7. There really is that much work. But the thing is when you just mindlessly work hour after hour after hour at the same thing, you lose the joy. Don't get me wrong, there is a mountain of laundry in my basement right now, in my laundry room. I could have spent this hour that I just spent for myself on doing laundry, sure. The laundry can happen in my 20-minute little breaks that I have. I mean, realistically, how long does it take to throw a laundry into the washer, to take the laundry that's in the washer and put it in the dryer, and take the stuff that's in the dryer and put it in a laundry basket? Take the little wins. You got a load of laundry done today. That's a win. You got to the gym today. That's a win. Did you fold the laundry? No. Did you kill your workout? Maybe not. But it's hard to pull yourself away from a task that isn't finished. I know that a lot of times I'm like, I'm just going to power through. It's a learning curve. It takes a lot of time to learn when to cut a task off. Especially as a mom, I feel like we have so much guilt and shame around social media shows everybody's house this clean and everybody's closet this sorted and folded, so I guess I better sort and fold all my laundry. And I don't know about you guys, my girls right now, they're 6 and 3. They would change their outfits, 7 times a day if I didn't put systems in place to where they can't. Like full disclosure, I lock my girls' drawers. I have child locks on the drawers and I have a child lock on the closet. Because if I didn't, I would wash all of their clothes every week. I get out their outfit in the morning and that's what we wear. And if we want to dress up, we can play with the dress-up dresses. I say all that to say we can create these endless tasks, right? Like if we don't put systems in place, your tasks are going to be never ending. Nick and I do a really good job at splitting chores. A lot of times when people ask how I do it all, I say, Nick is a really, really great partner. We split everything literally 50-50. And I mean everything. He changes just as many diapers as I do. He does the dishes, he does the laundry, and I do the dishes and I do the laundry and I wipe butt. It's just, we are such a good partnership and I'm just so thankful. And I hear so many of my friends or family say that they're the only ones that wakes up in the middle of the night with the baby. They're the only ones that change diapers. The only reason Nick doesn't wake up in the middle of the night with the kids is because he's a shift worker. So our house could collapse. And I truly think the only way he would wake up is if rubble fell on him. He doesn't hear. So that's the only reason I'm primarily the one that wakes up with the kids, because at that point it's I wake up with the kids. What do I have to do? Hit him to go get him? No. For the most part, we split everything. And that does make my journey easier. He doesn't like homeschooling. I really find a lot of joy in homeschooling. So when I'm schooling, he's doing chores. He's tending to the little babies. It's really what also makes this super achievable for me, is that I have a really great partner who steps in when I have to step out. There's only so many hours in a day. For an example of how my day runs, I'm gonna get home. It's 8 o'clock right now. My big kids are probably awake. My little kids probably aren't awake, but Nick's there sleeping, so if they need anything, they know they can go in and wake him up. If I come home, I'm gonna make them breakfast, and then Nick's gonna wake up. He'll spend some time with us, probably until about 10 o'clock. Me and Cora are running to the grocery store, and I gotta go to my wholesaler to get my fresh flower products because I have an order today and a wedding expo this weekend. I've gotta prep for the wedding expo this weekend, get all my stuff together. That could wait until tomorrow. I'm gonna grocery shop, probably get a little bit of lunch with Cora or something like that, come back, do the flower order, put the babies to sleep, Nick will go to sleep, then the big kids and I will go do this flower delivery, and then I'll come back and I'll school. And now typically I would be schooling between the hours of like 10 and 2, but today I have a flower order to do and I have grocery shopping to do, so we're going to push back school. Because the idea is that homeschooling, they get to spend quality time with me as well. So they're going to go do this flower delivery with me. Cora's going to help me do some math at the grocery store. Maybe Desmond will want to come. I'm not really sure. But it's all about like spending time with your family as well. And, you know, maybe we'll get a little lunch. We'll have some family time together, some alone time, just me and my big kids. I call them my bigs. My bigs and my littles. Ellie and Henry are my littles. Des and Cora are my bigs. So spend some time with my bigs. My days look different. So typically during nap time, I'll take an hour and a half, and I'll really dive into social media and business stuff. Sometimes I'll take a break during lunch. I'll eat my lunch and do social media. The idea is that, you know, my day can be jam-packed, but it's still structured, and I'm still taking those jam-packed days and taking snippets of those errands I have to run and doing it with my kids. Spending the time that we have in the morning with Nick. You know, I'll make breakfast. I'll let Ellie scramble the eggs. You know, as moms, especially in this generation, millennial moms specifically, I feel like we think that we have to spend this like monumental time with our kids. It has to be something big and explosive and exciting, and usually that is expensive and time consuming and really not as engaging as you think it is. You know, oh, let's go to the children's museum. That's a nightmare, dude. And don't get me wrong, like I'll bring my kids places, but those types of outings are so stressful with 4 kids. It's like Cora would so much rather just go to the grocery store with me, sit in the back seat and talk my ear off while we drive 12 minutes down the road to the store. Like, your alone time with your kids can be just a car ride to go pick up lunch. It can be just a car ride with my bigs while I go do a flower delivery. I don't have to bring them to the trampoline park and spend $50 and then I've got to pack a water bottle and pack the jump socks. I got to remember where the jump socks are. Like, what? It doesn't always have to be like that. Sure, I do that stuff with my kids. Sure, I do. But your isolated time with your kids, your quality time with your kids, it doesn't have to be this expensive, thought out, planned out thing. My kids literally love just sitting in the car with me. Let's go get some donuts. Let's go do a flower delivery with mom. They think it's the coolest thing. Cora loves to go up to the door and hand the flowers to the person with us, especially if I say it's like for their birthday. The pressure that we put on ourselves as moms, coupled with the busyness, coupled with social media, seeing these like picture perfect lives, which you have to remember, and what I have to so often remind myself is social media is a snippet of what people want you to see. It's this perspective they want you to have of their lives. Did I film that super stressful, messy moment with my kids? No. And if I did, I would never post that, because why on earth would I want people to like engage in my stress? I don't know. I just feel like, yes, it's like, oh, be real, but like, I don't need to post about poopy diapers for you guys to know as moms, like we deal with poopy diapers. This was kind of a rambly video, I know that, but I just want you guys to know that things you see on social media, it's not always rainbows and butterflies and this perfect, picture perfect thing everyone says. I just went over my schedule with you. I am fully aware we are going to hit a roadblock somewhere along the line. There are 1,000,001 things that go wrong, but having a schedule and a structure like, hey, this is what we're going to do, it helps. And I always let my bigs in on my schedule, because Cora will keep me accountable. Cora will be like, Mom, you said we were gonna. Cora will keep me accountable. But not only that, I think everyone preaches kids love structure, kids love schedules. You know, I like to offer that to them and tell them, hey, this is our plan today. Like, they know I go to the gym every morning at 7:10. They know that. And so the bigs wake up and they're nice and quiet in the morning for daddy, or, you know, usually daddy's home or awake or whatever. And they know to keep an eye out for Ellie and Henry. And if Ellie and Henry wake up, that Des has to kind of assume that babysitter role in a very loose way, because Nick is asleep in the other room. Like, you know, he could always wake up, but that Henry stays in his crib. And if Henry cries and Henry wakes up, we've got to wake up Daddy. It doesn't typically work that way. Henry doesn't usually wake up until like 8:30, but we've got systems. And, you know, maybe it's very possible I walk in here and Nick's awake and he goes, yeah, Henry woke up. And so then I'll adjust my plan to let Nick go back to sleep now, and I'll wait to grocery shop during naps. You know, it's a very fluid system, but I feel like as long as you as a mom are ready for just the season of life that you're in, and know, hey, my schedule is my schedule, and sometimes I can't make it and do all the things I want to do, but hey, you know, I'm blessed to have children and money to do so, and the ability to stay home with my family, and the ability to have a husband who's healthy enough to work and breadwin for the family. And, you know, you've got to look at the positive things. So I saw a reel on Instagram the other day that was like, be thankful for the mess because you have kids who create it. Be thankful that you have to make dinner because you have food to make it. You know, just working on gratitude and stuff like that. It's really important as a mom. You've got to look at the bright side. And this is only a season. There's going to be a time where I'll have the entire day to work out because my kids will be teens. I'll have the entire day to go grocery shop. You know, there's a time when I'm not going to have to grocery shop and buy pouch yogurts and Go-Gurts because all of them will be eating the same yogurt. You know, it's just a season, and you got to remind yourself that. And when you feel stressed, and you got to just roll with the punches. You know, a really important thing that I learned, I sought therapy with postpartum depression after Desmond. I suffered a lot. And I sought therapy, and one of the most impactful things that my therapist said to me is I had a lot of postpartum anxiety. It was like, you know, if the diaper bag wasn't packed a certain way, it was like my day was going to implode. And is that really the case? You know, my therapist, she said, you know, what's one thing you're super anxious about? And, you know, it was the diaper bag. And she was like, what happens if the diaper bag's not packed? And I'm like, well, you know, if I don't have enough milk, and then he's hungry, or I don't have the nipple for the bottle, and I don't have a onesie. And she's like, so he drinks formula, or so he eats puffs, or so, like, what is the worst case? Was I really gonna sit here and say, like, if I don't have a bottle, my kid's gonna starve to death and die in my back seat? No. You have to look at your anxieties and look at your struggles for what they are. Not having a packed diaper bag, that's your anxiety. And when I say it caused me immense anxiety, not having everything that I could possibly need for Desmond when I was out. I had all the means to just run to a Walmart or a Target if I was out and didn't have the right bottle or a pacifier. It wasn't like I live in a rural place where I'm an hour away from, like, and that's truly, when we look at our anxieties and when we look at what we stress about, it's like, if your friend was stressing about that, you'd be like, get it together. And that's what we have to tell ourselves sometimes, is like, chill. It's good. You're doing great. Your babies are happy and healthy, and you're a great mom, and you're happy and healthy. And don't get me wrong, I know there are stresses and anxieties, and there are things that are wrong with people and things that people struggle with. I'm not diminishing that at all, but when we look inward and we look at what we stress about, get it together. I have friends who hold me accountable and humble me. Nick humbles me. I'll be like, Nick, I need to be humbled, and I know it. And when I say it out loud, I know it's crazy. But as moms, we've got crazy amount of pressure on us, and we need to just, like, chill. But that's my rambling. Time block your schedule out. I really encourage you to try it, to time block, because it is so helpful. Not all your time blocks are going to look the same, but the structure in which you time block will be the same day to day. And that's how I manage being a mom of 4, owning 2 businesses, being a wife, being a stay-at-home mom, making food, homeschooling. Like, that's how I do it. It's time blocking. It's very effective. I hope this was helpful for someone. I hope you have a wonderful and happy day. It is rainy and gloomy here in central New York, but April showers bring May flowers. That's what my grandma told me. So, love you. Have a good one.